Hey everyone, Rocky here. Welcome to my first game review on this channel, and it kind of makes sense because it's for Just Dance, but I haven't really made a proper review video like ever. I'm not sure how I'm going to edit this video. I'm going to try my best to make it as engaging as possible. I really want to cover over Just Dance VR because it is one of the games that like completely like renovated Just Dance in the last few years. I understand that Just Dance makes new games every year, but lately the recent games don't feel like new games anymore. They kind of feel like just DLC packs, so the hype is not as 100% as it used to be in my personal opinion. When Just Dance VR got announced, I was actually more excited about Just Dance VR because it was a brand new game compared to 2025, and it kind of gave me the excitement that I was really looking for Just Dance that I haven't had for the last 2 years. And I actually find myself playing Just Dance VR more than 2025 at the moment because of how new it is. Just Dance 2025 has no leveling system once you're at 150. There's nothing to compensate for it, so like when the new game comes out, I kind of don't have the hype to grind it as much as like older games, because when a new game came out, you start from level 1, you build up from there, but in the newer game, there's not really any levels to grind, so you're kind of just playing the songs to play the songs, and there's no incentive to keep playing after that. I'm gonna first start off with my first impressions on Just Dance VR. So I have booted up the game for the first time and recorded it as my live reaction. The audio was all over the place because I was recording directly from the headset, but here's a cut comm of what I felt when I first did Centuries.
Okay. Dibby. That's your name? Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay, so just wake me up. Taki. Therefore? So this is VR exclusive. Oh my. Oh. Oh my god. Oh my god. This coach looks amazing. Pretty simple dance. Did someone just join my party? Oh, what's going on? Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god. What? Whoa, what's this? That's a lot. Hold on. Can I move this? Oh, you can move it like that. I'm amazed. Holy crap. Holy crap. How'd I close you? Oh, there you go.
So I was absolutely amazed with Centuries. I really wish I was able to record my face because most of the time I was just smiling and having shocked faces, so you weren't able to see it. Can assure you that I was shocked most of the dance. And I picked up the dance very quickly because it was very repetitive, and on top of the pictos were very descriptive. Usually pictos are not the best in Just Dance when you're first doing a first try. It's usually just like for dedicated players that look into it and know what move is next for the most part. But Centuries was like the first time where the pictos actually made sense, and I was able to pick them up very quickly. I'm pretty sure like MZ Lee also mentioned that on her stream, that the pictos like were really readable. That's besides the point. First impressions on my first map I've ever played, it was very user friendly. You just jumped into it, you just are in the environment, everything is just amazing. I literally have no complaints whatsoever about it. It just like the only thing I ever could complain, which is a nitpick, and it's not even the developer's fault, if the background can be slightly higher quality in terms of like the pixels and all that, but that's not something they can control on the Quest 2 or the Quest 3 because it is limited to the hardware that they are provided, so it's not really much they can do. I'm really proud of how Soul Assembly developed the maps this year. I'm trying not to keep my complaints right now. I will have a dedicated segment on this video where I just talk about complaints that I had with the game, so right now it's just me talking about what I like about the game, but don't worry, we will go over the negatives very soon. So now this is like the most anticipated part for me because Just Dance VR, obviously, since I've been playing it a lot, I have finished every single quest in the game already, and the only quest left actually is just to level up, and that's literally it. I already have some critiques I'm gonna give, and I actually wrote it down over here because I just couldn't remember it all on top of my head, so I'm just gonna be going through them. First one is Beauty and the Beat. Not only is the tracking very questionable in some parts of the map, especially in the electronic part, but the coach is lagging. Like out of have all the maps in the game, the coach is running at a lower frame rate than the other coaches are. So it looks like he's like running at like 15 frames per second, while like the other coaches in the other maps are running at a stable like 24 FPS, which is normal. So I hope they do eventually fix that, and on top of that, fixing the scoring on that one. That is one that I definitely had a really big complaint about, and I was very upset by. Beauty and the Beat was my favorite map so far, and it's kind of sad that the map is kind of treated that way, in my opinion. I would really like to see changes, and they did secretly push a patch 2 weeks after the game came out that fixed some issues with other maps. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe next patch this is already going to be addressed. As of me recording this video, this was not resolved yet. A big problem I experienced with Just Dance VR as well is the invite system. I feel like there has to be a big change like pronto with the invite system, because the only way to invite your friends in Just Dance VR is by the friends list, which is expected, or just by seeing someone at Dancity. But it's the part of adding them which is the hardest part. The only way to get people to add in JDVR is by encountering them in Dancity, or by sending a meta friend request, which requires you to go out of the game to send the invite, adding them from the leaderboards. And that's like the only way to add people. You cannot just like open the friends menu and search for your friend in Just Dance. You have to find them in Dancity or add them directly on meta, which is kind of tedious, and I do hope they add a search feature very soon for that. Alright, so my next complaint actually is on another map, which is Wannabe by Itzy. There's two problems I have with it. One of them, I think I know why that problem happens, and the other one, it's just inexcusable. The first one is, I think Wannabe is the hardest map to run on the Quest 2, because I'm on the older Quest, not the 3S or the 3, so I'm on the lower end part of things. But I noticed that the map kind of has hitches and lags. And that's the only map I play that has this problem, especially in single player. But in multiplayer, it kind of gets really, really bad. But I think that could just be done with optimizations over time, because the Quest 2 just is not capable of handling as much stuff as the Quest 3 was. But the next problem is the transitions in Wannabe. Jesus Christ, dude. When the transitions happen, the whole entire screen goes white. You don't even see the coach anymore for that 1 second. It goes white, like, bah. Alright, all jokes aside, I hope they do fix it or make the coach still visible during the transitions, because it can throw people off, especially people that don't know the dance, and not being able to see the choreo or anything is kind of important, that we need to see it. And also one more thing, the intro has no sound. So like, there's just dead silence while the whole intro is happening, and I would really like to have some sound effects, so the silence is kind of broken. So that's my complaints on Wannabe. Something that has kind of triggered me in a way is when you're doing matchmaking with friends in Just Dance VR, you actually cannot interact with the disco ball menu properly. As you see in the video, I'm going to be pointing down at it. You'll see that like I'm trying to hover over the menu where the matchmaking kind of is, and there's like a kind of an invisible barrier around the matchmaking sign, so you cannot interact with the disco ball properly. The only way is you put your hand really, really close to the menu and doing it, and that's very counterintuitive. It would be really nice if they can have a feature where you can still interact with the menu while there's the matchmaking text there, because that's literally just pissing me off and it's annoying, and it just makes me not want to start a song in matchmaking until we're all set. But it is a little frustrating, and I hope they do fix that. All right, so the next thing is kind of going to be an in general one. I did have some problems sometimes, especially in multiplayer, where the map would not start and you're just sitting in limbo the whole time. It's very rare for it to happen, but I have encountered it, especially with a group of people, and it did happen to me. I am leaving footage right now of me just being stuck. I also had problems where the game actually completely crashed the headset and I had to hold the restart, and it's just a still image on the headset because it completely crashed. We also have the random multiplayer disconnects. I was in a group of people with like hero carry, and we kept getting disconnects at left and right. And then we also had people freezing in the middle of the dance, but they got recovered after like 2-3 seconds, and then their scoring is desynchronized. Something that I also do appreciate about Just Dance VR, by the way, is the scoring is actually synchronized compared to the GD25 game, where everyone's getting scores at completely different intervals. Something that I still am shocked that JDVR can do, but the GD25 can't. I hope one day they do have a fix for that, because I really want to have synchronized scoring in multiplayer, and JDVR does that perfectly. One more general complaint I will also give is some maps, even if you get perfects, it doesn't feel like a perfect. You can get a really low score even with a really decent like perfect rate, because it seems like perfects aren't really perfects in JDVR, but at the same time I was told that you can still get a 13.333 without getting a full perfect. So like the scoring is kind of all over the place in this game, but it's still fun, don't get me wrong. but that is just my general complaints on that. All right, so the next thing we're going to be talking about is the ideas or suggestions that the game should be added. And before we even get to this topic, I have a link in the description I'm going to leave for you guys where I rated every single map in terms of intensity for people that are very sensitive to VR or is really new but doesn't want to get motion sick and wants to take the lowest approach possible. I made a very detailed guide that I personally rated and gave the intense in terms of like motion sick, and I even leave details in the bottom where I explain why exactly I rated it that way and what parts of the song may trigger any sort of discomfort or any sort of motion sickness triggers. So if you really want to like get into VR but you're really scared on what maps you feel like it will be okay for you, I made a guide for you. Have fun with it. All right, let's go ahead and get to the suggestions. So I noticed that there's a lot of buttons that are overused in JDVR. So like the disco ball menu can be used on both hands. There's 2 different buttons, but I feel like it should maybe be locked to the right one, and the left one can be used as like a push to talk or toggle to talk button, because in JDVR you have to click multiple buttons just to mute your microphone. So like you're gonna hear everyone breathing really heavily while they're dancing and they can't just unmute to talk when they want to. Very inconvenient. It would be really nice if that is a feature. Next one is I would really like to have the old star sounds from Just Dance 2025 in JDVR because it's just cheering sounds. The next big thing is the invite system. Instead of only inviting people, it would be really nice if we can request to join people's lobbies, because you can't like request to join people's lobbies. The only way you can try to get people to know if you want to join their parties by sending an emote. It would be really nice if there's an option to request to join a party that's already existing, and also a very clear indication that an invite was sent, because when I send an invite, it does not show an indicator saying the invite was sent. So I thought maybe I misclicked, so I send an invite again and it results in accidental spam invites without realizing. Would be really nice if there's a button that shows, hey, you just sent the invite. Another thing is being able to customize the apartments. I know that might be like a technical issue because I know like the way the game is designed, it looks like the apartments are the same across the board, but it would be really nice if we can uniquely customize our apartments and maybe hang up the clothes that we've gained from leveling up and like have it like organized. It would be really nice to have our own apartment, and what would be even really cool just for fun, imagine if we can connect our computers to the apartments. Like if there's like a computer area, imagine being able to use your computer. It's just a thought, but it would be really nice if that's a possibility. And the biggest thing I had to complain about in Just Dance VR is the leg movements. When you're playing with friends, no one moves their legs, which is obvious because there's no leg tracking. It would be really nice if there can be some sort of integration to have pre-animated leg movements on all the maps. I know it would take time to develop, but it would actually be a really nice detail to look at your friends dancing. Not only will their arms be moving, but you guys would have a pre-animation of their legs moving. So it'd be really cool, because then it would actually look like they're doing the dance properly. Be really cool. I would really like that a lot. To keep the game fresh, because 25 songs is just not enough, in my opinion, it would be game modes for those existing songs. So maybe like Simon Says. Imagine Simon Says in JDVR. That would be amazing. We need a world dance floor or something like that, or like a challenge mode or something. It would be kind of nice to have something like that, because Just Dance 2025 does have challenge mode. One thing I really would like you guys not to do, and we had a lot of fun with this, please don't patch the out of bounds glitches. I know this is gonna sound really weird, but I have a lot of fun just going out of bounds because we can play like volleyball in a really big open space, because we actually named the whale Blubber with my friend group, and it's really fun because Blubber falls and hits us in certain parts of out of bounds. It's really funny, and we also have such an open space that we can actually have fun there. Dancity is kind of crammed and there's not really room for open space, so like it's kind of fun. I know it sounds like, you know, weird, why not patch it? It's kind of fun, and it kind of rewards the dedicated players, in my opinion. It's no harm done, but it is kind of fun, let's be honest. We actually sometimes play hide and seek in our friend group, and we start looking all over Dancity, and the trees are now a great hiding spot, so it actually is kind of accidentally making us have more fun in Dancity by having more ways to interact with other players. So keeping that in would be a big bonus, in my opinion. All right, so the last segment I want to touch up on is the community kind of side of things, on what everyone feels about Just Dance VR. One that I did get a complaint about, and I actually also encountered the bug, but I totally forgot I had the footage in my Quest drive, is the coach sometimes freezes, but the dance is still happening, if that makes sense, but then the coach catches up after. Footage was is going to be provided. Some people have complained that like the beach ball game that's in the middle of the arena in Dancity is kind of hard to play, especially if you're using the teleporting mechanic, so it's really hard to enjoy it, and it's not consistent because there's like a delay when you hit it. That's another complaint. And I would say we did touch up on some things already, so I won't go over it, but some people are also asking, why can't we open the doors in the apartments? That would be a really cool thing, actually, if we can open the doors, and maybe as we level up the apartment gets bigger. That's a cool idea that we can try having upon leveling up more. And something I also want to add on to it, I don't want this game to be like Just Dance 25 where after like a certain amount of levels you can't level up anymore. It would be really nice if there can be an uncapped level after you reach a certain threshold, and it would just be prestige levels, and you could just infinitely get as much numbers as you want, and it would keep the longevity of grinding and XP gathering in this game. So that would be really, really cool. One person did also vent that maybe releasing JDVR on the same day 25 came out might have been a mistake for some, because buying 2 games is usually not common for people that buy video games, especially if it's for like a Christmas gift or something like that, which it's already happened, time has already went by, but yeah, that's usually what is expected. And also one big complaint that someone also did say is that it's showing your favorite song based on how many times you played it, which mine is Thank You Next, because I had to do Thank You Next like 100 times for a challenge, and it's not my favorite song actually. It would be really nice if we can actually customize our favorite songs, but it doesn't look like that's a possibility right now. And that's kind of like the general community kind of side of things. The other ones are just asking how many rewards they are, which I will just answer it here. There's 300 levels in the game, so after 300 there's no more XP. I also would like to have more toys added, because the toys in the game are so fun to mess around with. That actually does sound wrong, don't quote me on that. But yeah, that's usually like my current thoughts on the game. Now let's move on to my final rating on Just Dance VR. So what did you guys think about the video? I know there was a lot I talked about in this, and I actually want to add one more thing. I would love to have some Twitch integration in the game, like Twitch chat inside the game if you link your Twitch, because there's no way to view chat properly as a streamer, and especially I'm going to try to stream JDVR and it's going to be chaotic. That's beside the point. Sorry if the video was long. I just had a lot to say because this game really means a lot to me and the franchise as a whole. Let me know what you guys feel about it. I'm very, very curious. If you liked the video, feel free to like it or dislike it if you damn dislike it, and I'm out. Peace.